Before this video starts, I just want to say I am sick as shit and I have been for like the past week and I am fucking miserable. I mean, Jesus Christ, but gotta get this video out. Fuck. I am a huge film buff, and I'll admit I have a love-hate relationship with movies. I mean, films are some of the most expressive things of all time, and by extension of this claim, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is still one of my favorite things ever, and I even house a tattoo permanently on my body as an ode to this movie. Tattoos aside, I love movies, but not nearly as much as anime, so combining the two was obviously going to skyrocket my interest in the medium. And when you're starting off with something or you want to get into something new, you look to what everyone else likes. Well, I don't like Makoto Shinkai's movies, and for that matter, I hate Weathering with You. Look, I seriously dislike this movie, and I watched this with the intention of making a video on it because I was sure that I could spark up some conversation or thoughts on this shit, but Jesus Christ, I want to claw my fucking eyeballs out and shove them in my mouth after subjecting myself to this shit for 2 hours straight, pretty much. If I had to describe this movie in one word, unironically, it wouldn't be anything derogatory, to be honest with you, because I don't think it's bad in the same way something like Tomodachi Game or Gushing Magical Girls is. It's not outright horrible content or anything ethically questionable. The one word I would use is why. For anyone who got into anime in this decade, or you're living under a rock or whatever, Weathering with You is a 110-minute movie that's decently popular that came out in a boom period of anime in summer 2019. The story follows Hodaka, a teenage boy who moves away from his family due to pretty shitty circumstances, and from that point he immediately goes broke due to a lack of employment opportunities because, well, again, if you're living under a rock, the job market is ass, but also he's far too young and won't be taken seriously in most positions. Upon lurking around a McDonald's, which sounds fucking hilarious, but it's not because he's homeless, but also it's a fucking McDonald's, he meets a girl by the name of Hina, and after some events in the story that are so boring and meaningless that they aren't worth mentioning, he gets a job as a writer for an occult magazine. Well, plot twist, Hina, the McDonald's worker that he met while homeless, is actually a girl who can control the weather. Get it? Weathering with You, the girl can control the weather, so Hodaka is actually low-key weathering with Hina instead of like chilling or hanging out. No, nothing. All right, yeah, the name is shit. Weathering with You is confusing, and not because its storytelling is subtle. In fact, I love subtle storytelling, and as much as I don't care for this guy's movies, which will come in due time in another video, I find that Your Name and Suzume are much better storytellers, both in subtlety and in handling a perfect balance between the supernatural and the occult. If you're wondering why the arbitrary comparison, well, it's not really arbitrary because, like I said earlier, they were all made by the same guy I mentioned. Besides Satoshi Kon, Makoto Shinkai is the most notorious Japanese animation director of all time, and obviously this is due to having the most popular anime movie titles of all time. But Weathering with You is an embarrassment and stain on Makoto Shinkai's movies because it literally serves no purpose. Every story, no matter the length or subject matter, must tell some kind of tale that ends in a message. Even if the message isn't something that personally resonates with me, sometimes I can find value in these kinds of stories. I don't understand My Hero Academia's message, especially when I believe that the message changed about 4 chapters before its ending, but what I can tell you is that it has one, and that I can respect if someone has personally felt something from this story. Weathering with You, on the other hand, has no message, and to take it a step further, it has almost no direction or plot. It's a discombobulated mess that means nothing. It's just characters who happen to take up space interacting with one another for the purpose of interacting with one another, a telling of the occult just to show you the occult, which as the viewer isn't the worst thing in the world, because as an avid enjoyer of slice of life and someone who's a fan of real life too, unlike a majority of anime and manga fans, I understand that pointlessness is sometimes the point of life, ironically, but when you're showing me a 2-hour work of media, what's the point? You need to take advantage of the time that you're given. You don't have the luxury of time on your hands to give your story more depth through character interactions and cast chemistry building. Of course, this is something present in literally everything good, but with a movie, you need to engage the viewer while you tell a story front to back or back to front if you're into that. There isn't 12 or 25 or 50 episodes for you to just bullshit me for 2 hours fucking straight. The worst part about this is the fact that you have the nerve to make this shit the most boring piece of shit I've ever come across. Redline has a lot of the same issues as Weathering with You, but at least Redline is just unadulterated and unabashed racing that can be super entertaining at times. Weathering with You has 10 or 15-minute scenes of characters just walking around Tokyo, and the justification for all of this is, hey, at least it looks good. Well, no, fuck you. Because yes, Shinkai's movies look phenomenal, dude. If you put fucking $11 million into something and it didn't look pristine, I would laugh my fucking ass off, and the rest of the world would too. Just take a look at Joker 2 and its reception. In every one of my videos, I've given props and acknowledgement to animation teams because I know they work insanely hard, and those working conditions can be ruthless at times. There are deadlines and shit, and it's a job, not a hobby like drawing or fucking painting. Jesus Christ, I am just sick of people just praising this guy's movies just because they look good. What about the story? What about anything else? Why the hell is Weathering with You so fucking pointless? Hey Mob, calm down, man. It's just a drawing. No, you fucking Neanderthal. Look at what's happening. Animation is being used as some kind of reasoning, some kind of justification and bypass for these stories being absolute shit. How can you call yourself a fan of anything if you're not willing to be passionate about it? Oh, because you live in real life. Well, art is real life. Side rant over. Weathering with You meanders and wastes your time. Its character interactions mean nothing, and with a limited timetable to accomplish or do much, it was bound to fail from the beginning. Weathering with You attempts to be interesting and attempts to be something more than it is, but it cosmically fails because the reality is that Weathering with You is not confident that it's going to be a good piece of art, and because of this, its direction is uncertain. A lot of the times when I was watching the movie, everything was kind of just like uncertain, and it was kind of like the directors were just in this bitch just fucking making decisions to make decisions because they thought eventually if they made enough decisions it would just kind of go somewhere, and it didn't fucking do that at all. Weathering with You doesn't have a message because it's unclear in what it actually wants to say. Is the occult real, and do we trust the occult? Is moving away for a better opportunity actually the right decision? Can we move past things that have traumatized us in order to tell a story so great that it almost feels supernatural? Why do people fear the boundlessness of the ocean but love the endlessness of the sky? Weathering with You can't answer any of these questions, and because of this, it's not only a lackluster movie that I wasted my time with, but a painfully boring movie that has psyoped the anime community into thinking this is worth anyone's time. I do not recommend Weathering with You to anyone, and I literally mean anyone. You could be Hitler, you could be Randy Orton, bro, you could even be fucking Naruto. I don't give a singular fuck. I don't recommend Weathering with You to anyone who values their time and energy, because trust me, chances are you're going to be pissed unless you just want some eye candy, which in that case, Weathering with You is a masterpiece. I know there's going to be some fucking retard or ape or inbred in the comments who isn't going to actually try to explain any of the movie and is instead going to be like, well, you're stupid for not liking this movie. It's peak, man. You don't know what you're talking about, man. You're just some YouTuber, man, and you like Monogatari and Fade and Black Lagoon and Pretty Derby and all this stuff, and how could you even understand the intricacies of Weathering with You? And a boy who, yeah, dude, I've heard it all. I've heard that shit. I've been in the anime community for like fucking 8-9 years. Dude, shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear that shit. It's almost 2025. You love Weathering with You? Cool. Tell me why you love it. Maybe you can change my mind and make me think about it differently. And if you can't, hey, at least you didn't waste your time, and I'm happy for you. Keep being a Weathering with You fan, man. Fucking loser. That's going to do it for the video. It's Mobby, the guy who does anime recommendations, reviews, retrospectives, you name it, I do it, and I'm out, y'all. Peace. Also, follow me on Twitter for one of those cinnamon goldfish cookies.